Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. Our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, and anyone having the opportunity to hear us on social media or on the radio, welcome to our program. And you qualify to pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues. 2 wars is taking place between Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Hamas. And maybe we could even start looking at the United States of America. The United States of America seems to want to fight with itself. So we could start looking at that. But again, we're back in Grenada here. You know, it's never a dull moment in Grenada. And today is Wednesday. That means we have just, many people this morning went to church and take ashes because it is the first day beginning of the Lenten season, where Catholics and other Anglicans and other religious individuals are called to do penance, to give alms, and to deny yourself. They encourage you to fast. If you're between 14 and 59, 60 years, if you're older than that, they don't encourage you to fast. If you're younger, they don't encourage you to fast. If you're sick or you're taking medication, you are not required to fast. This thing about fasting is not to punish yourself or not to lose weight, but to make the necessary sacrifice, do penance, and to be more generous. So if instead of eating 3 meals a day, perhaps you eat 1 standard meal. And then you can't claim you don't have money, because some of the food that you didn't eat, you would save it and you become very generous during that period of time. Lent is like a dry time. You would see that they change the flowers in the church. You might see a stone, or cactus, or coconut broom, or dry wood. There's this period of time when you look at yourself and you examine yourself. You know, you reconcile. That is an important time in the church's history. And while that is going on, today is Valentine Day. Today is the feast of Saint Valentine. Valentine by Pope Gelasius, somewhere around 269. But in the 14th to the 15th century is when Valentine Day really take off and start recognizing it as a time to show love publicly. Sometime in 16 something, I think it's 1653 or some way, Oliver Cromwell banned Valentine in England. But when Charles II came into power, he reinstated it in 1660. So it was just for about 7 years that Valentine was banned in England. And you have some countries that don't celebrate Valentine. Valentine Day is banned in this country, particularly Muslim countries. They feel it is un-Islamic to celebrate Valentine. Saudi Arabia, Cambodia, Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Iran, Qatar, Somalia, Afghanistan, they ban Valentine. And you have some political groups in India. Every time that comes around, you have conflicts in India because some political groups is against Valentine. I notice in Grenada, Valentine seems to be diluted. It is not as prominent as before. You know, people, it's an attempt to show love. They encourage people to show love. Perhaps we need to do that. I believe the Ministry of Agriculture should use Valentine as a means to help to develop the flowers industry. Grenadian women seems not to readily to accept flowers. A few moons ago, I saw a friend on Valentine's Day with a black plastic in his hand. Stop, my partner, I must pick him up. He said, boy, thank God you come. You saved me. He was going to bring a plastic with flowers for a girl. But he put it in a bag. He didn't want the public see. And next thing he was wondering if she would accept it. So you women must prepare to accept flowers as gift. Most time you feel you want something expensive, or you want food, or you want chicken. But perhaps you should start accepting flowers as gift. That might be an act of great love and romance. And I go back to the Ministry of Agriculture again. The Ministry of Agriculture should market flowers and use Valentine's Day to encourage farmers to sell flowers. I mean, we have to, Ministry of Agriculture, wake up. That's one of the industry that is lagging behind, the flowers industry. The Cocoa Association should have nice chocolate for Valentine. You know what it is if a man give you a nice chocolate, a beautiful bottle with honey, and a bouquet of flowers? That's why that man might really love you. So we must encourage these things. And you could help increase the local production of honey, chocolate, flowers, and even you add a piece of spice in it. And you could make nice gift. So I think we must do more to appreciate and encourage our women. Fella tell me them women don't want no flowers. Say flowers what? So as a result of that, the exchange of the using flowers as a gift on Valentine's Day in Grenada seems to be dying out. But I challenge the Ministry of Agriculture today. We already export fish, soursop, cocoa, and nutmeg. That is 4 industries that we have. Government just seems to do some brainstorming and come up with ways in which you could improve this industry. But Grenada could improve the honey industry. Even if you increase production of honey by 1,000% in the Caribbean, you will not be able to satisfy the market. A bottle of honey in Grenada now is over $50 for a 750 ml bottle of honey. And the price is going to raise. Trinidad don't have honey, but they have a powerful beekeepers association who do not want honey come inside Trinidad. So they're going to make more money. So they could sell a bottle for $500 and $600, $700. Guyana have massive land mass. But sometimes the cost, the oil cost, that has taken some country, and when they get oil, they abandon all other industries. And they just stuck on oil. But Guyana have the land mass to produce honey and flowers. The Israelis produce for export billions of dollars of flowers from their country, and when they was in control of Palestine. So there is definitely an economic importance for flowers, and also a place for romance. The Bible have over 25 verses where they speak about love. It is true that the Bible never spoke about Valentine. But the Bible have over 25 verses in the Bible that spoke specifically about love. And nearly 600 times the word love is mentioned in the Bible. So love is a significant thing. And perhaps we should show more love. Show love to our women, love to children, love to parents. We should do more to show more love. And that would help to promote the flowers industry. We could do much more. We have the flowers industry crying out for assistance. We have the beekeeping industry bawling for assistance. And we have the CMOS industry that Grenada could invest in. And we have a Minister of Agriculture that does not seem to understand that. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
I would like to ask you a question.
Go right ahead.
Where does Valentine originate from? Who introduced Valentine? And what is the reason, the real reason for Valentine? The meaning of it. Thank you.
Yes, Valentine, there's a number of mysteries about it, but Pope Gelasius, and I think that is the last pope from North America, from North Africa, from Africa. He was the one who recognized Valentine as a saint. And the name Valentine was also common at that time. So there are a number of people that you could, that because of the surname was that common. But it was because of acts of love that this individual was marrying people that I think was Claudius, did not want them to get married. So some of the things he was doing was for love sacrifice. And in one case, the judge challenged him to heal his daughter, his blind daughter. And he did touch her eyes, and she was healed. So there was greater recognition of this individual doing things because of love. And that is why he became a saint. But it was in the 14th to 15th century that the day Valentine Day was recognized. Some people even claim that there was a pagan celebration on that day, and it was used to dilute the significance of the pagan celebration. So in the Bible, there is no referring or no statements in the Bible you could say that cause us to celebrate Valentine's Day. But the Bible spoke about love in 25 verses in the Bible. And over nearly 600 times, love was mentioned in the Bible. So it's a good thing to show love. Some people in the Caribbean and in Grenada, they say black men doesn't show love. For instance, you don't see a man and a spouse going on the road sucking ice cream and sharing it. Some cultures might believe that is an act of love. Perhaps we might drink a beer and the woman have ice cream. But I believe that more and more, the particularly Christian religion, believe you should show love. Hug your wife, hold your hand. In South America, Cuba, and some countries, you see a lot of people holding hands and walking. In Grenada, you don't see much of that. You see the woman in front and the man behind, or the man in front and the woman behind. And when nighttime come, then you see they hold up tight as wax. Breeze can fall behind it. Or you see the man hiding behind the woman when a light comes. Walking the road with his girlfriend. But when the light comes, he's hiding. He don't want the public to see who is behind. So that is acts of love. You encourage your people to show love. You hold a woman hand and you're walking down the road. Young men, young women. In some countries, man and woman hold hand and they walk in a bird or a dog or something as an act of love. In Grenada, you don't find that at all. Or you don't find that much. Or it's very rare. You might see a girl pregnant, you don't know. You never see her with a man. Next thing you see her pregnant. There are some women, you never see them with a man in the day. You never see them with a man in the day. So that's why the Christian religion see it as a outward sign, perhaps, of an inward grace and appreciation to show love. And I look at it from the agricultural aspect. This could be used to help to promote the flowers industry and the chocolate industry and the honey industry. What better gift you could give a woman more than a nice Grenadian chocolate together with a bottle of honey and a bouquet of flowers. So because our people are hesitant, reluctant, don't want to show much appreciation for this outward display of love, maybe the Minister of Agriculture and the Agricultural Department could use that celebration to help to promote flowers and to help to promote chocolate and to help to promote honey. Greater local consumption and appreciation of these things. So while the Bible have not said anything about Valentine, the Bible can say everything. Remember, based upon the old traditional Christian religion, it is not solo scriptura, not the Bible and the Bible alone. They use the Bible, the magisterium, and the traditional fathers. Because the Bible was put together about 300 years after Jesus Christ. And you couldn't put everything in the Bible. So it's not solo scriptura. Some people say it is solo scriptura, the Bible and the Bible alone. We say no. The Bible, the magisterium, and the traditional fathers. So we want to encourage, I always, every year, encourage people to show love. Show love. You hardly ever see a man hold a woman hand walking the road. And if you see that, they're just making papi shoe. You're not with her head. As soon as she say yes, he stop hold on. They like Miss Joe and Lionel. One in front, one behind. When nighttime comes, you see the man. In yesteryear, the woman used to be hiding behind the man back. But since our women get very liberal and they're equal to men now, the men hiding behind the woman back when they see a light. You see in the communities, you see women getting pregnant. You never see a girl walking on the road holding she man hand. Courting, that is a good act of love. And women is a good way to know if the man wants you or he love you or is you alone. Walk with him in the day, hold his hand. Hold your man hand in the day. Sometimes he's fighting to take out the hand from you because he have 5 other women looking for him. And as I say, in Islamic countries, it is un-Islamic to show love in the public. And they're right. Because if a man have 5 wives, if a man could have 5 wives in some Islam countries, they wouldn't want to go on, they have no time to hold women's hand. Because in some Islamic countries, you could beat your wife. They say beat her slightly. The Quran say beat her slightly. Admonish her, deny your bedroom, or beat her slightly. So they would not encourage to show love. The number to call is 4420175. And you will give me a call. Not because I'm speaking about love today, you don't call me. No. It's an important thing. The same thing I say. When you hear Valentine come, you watching around and you don't see no women, hardly any outward sign or act of love. Later in the night, they go and dance. But in the day, you don't see this outside display of love. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller.
I'm just calling to ask a question. I hear they talking about that $10,000 what they say the opposition side get and they don't receive no money. Before independence, they had parliament. And I heard the Prime Minister says that he gave $10,000 to his minister to help in the constituency for independence and 3,000 for the opposition side. So I don't know how they could be saying now that the Prime Minister says that he gave 10,000 to all ministers. So if that happened, and he's supposed to say it in Parliament as he said that he gave his side 10,000.
Yeah, should.
So I don't know how this thing just floating around and he wants to say in Parliament.
I don't think you should bother much, What happened is that the government had absolutely no intention of getting the opposition involved in the independence celebration. But as a result of criticism and after that, the government panicked and they thought they may not able to bring out a big crowd in the stadium, and that is why these little gestures was announced. They were not genuine. You should not pay bother with them.
Mr. Pierre, that is not right. That is not fair, Mr. Pierre. Right have to be right, Mr. Pierre. The Prime Minister have to do better than that. He's supposed to publish it in Parliament, not outside Parliament.
But you know the Prime Minister like to tell lies. So it's difficult. He's a chronic portrayer of lies, and he has difficulties with the truth. So this is just another one. Don't hurt your head about it. The opposition members have already said that he did not get any money, and Independence Day passed. It don't make no sense giving them money now.
No, exactly.
Because they did no preparation. Any preparation they did came out from their pockets or help. So it makes no sense. The government could keep the money now.
That's much a problem, Mr. Pierre. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, these things is just the government panic. A couple hours before independence, they panic. That is why they came and redraw the permission they gave for bars in the country. And it's just a little dumb because the stadium would have people anyway. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, after the independent committee, they had a press conference. And Mr. Orlando Roman said, when the journalist asked concerning the money for the opposition, he said for all that he know that they get the money. Right? He said they get it. But the opposition was saying that they didn't receive any money, no one has received no money. And what make it worse, you have the acting Prime Minister right now, MP for St. John's South, came on Shaggy program this morning and said the thing in process. Alright? So they're processing the thing for the payment. But here what he said. He said the money they and they didn't come to collect it. So it's something in process, Mr. Pierre. So then what you saying to them, the money already yet? Well then you say not turn around and say they don't come and collect the money. And next thing again, you have Mr. Alex Andrews said that the thing already yet. So if one saying that they pay, next one saying in process of getting ready to deliver to them, right? And you come the same are they saying now that the money they wouldn't come and collect it. If you say in process, and I mean it's not ready yet. So when they're ready, otherwise if wherever they have to go to for them to collect it, you let them know. Right? So when you look at what the government is doing, it just continues. Everybody say a different story. Everybody say a different story. One saying that the same party, but everybody speaking a different tune. Because when you lie, and people are going to lie, you lie and you're even thinking about what you say. If something right, somebody write something for you. You can read it. Sometimes your duty to go by and read what the person wrote for you to see if it makes sense. Right? What the Mr. Pastor said, that will make no sense. That makes no sense. And they just do this and stupidness.
Yes, scholar.
All right.
You have to understand that this group of individuals like to sit down and plan lies. They lack institutional knowledge. They are very arrogant and bitter. And they are led by the prince of hate and the most fractious motivational speaker in this country. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre. How are you doing?
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I would like to say this, sir. When we disseminate information, we have to be very careful how we do it and what we say. Now, the member, the MP, the Minister of the South, Minister Andy, he was talking about the $10,000 for the independence celebration, one, and two, the constituency allocations for MPs, parliamentary reps to deal with their area, right? Now, what I want to deal with is the money, the $10,000 from the NOC, or basically to do the celebrations, the bouncing and such, right? Now, this morning on that program, I listened to the program. A lady called before the gentleman called, right? And she was saying you had to cover invoices and what have you, and your vendors, what you'll be doing with the money. Now, Mr. Pierre, I'll give you a simple example, and let me see this math adding up. A constituency of St. George Northeast, which borders with St. George Southeast and others. So, it's a big constituency. Can $10,000 for a parliamentary rep, right, or an MP, cover that whole area? And in that area is Ron Redhead, MP Ron Redhead. He's no longer a minister, right? $10,000 cannot cover this whole area. We need to understand this thing carefully. Constituency allowance is different to what the NOC is talking about, and what Mr. Mitchell was and Williams was talking about this morning, right? He was saying basically that the money is there and available. Now, Mr. Pierre, money is available in all financial institutions, banks, where have you, Ariza, Nexa. It doesn't mean that you will get it. So he's trying to say that the MPs now have to go and apply, basically, in my view, in my opinion, apply for this loan or this money to spend in their constituency to put up buildings, which is wrong. And to me, like I said again, it's my opinion. That is what I get from what he's saying. They had to come and apply, sign up, and give a bank account number, and then you get the money. No. If MPs supposed to get it, and parliamentary reps, a matter of fact, parliamentary reps, which means you are elected, because you can be an MP and not elected, right? Like a senator. So we've seen senators doing stuff like, for instance, in St. George Northwest, Dr. Mitchell's area. We are seeing the senator elected up there doing stuff, which means if he had gotten that $10,000 to do stuff up there, he must have bring in his invoices. I'm only saying what we are hearing this morning now is a different spin to what Mr. Orlando Romain was saying Friday gone. And it's about time NDC get that act together and get on one page and get the lives together collectively and make it sound right. Have a good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, I don't think you might be asking something impossible. The NDC philosophy, the history, would make it extremely difficult for them to do anything different. In addition to that, they are political neophytes, and they are led by the prince of hate and the most fractious motivational speaker in this country. So you're asking something practically impossible. The most that could be done is to try to manage the consequences of this political party. The NDC have a history in 1990, in 2008. Look, between 2008 and 2013, look at what they did to the elderly, the physically challenged, disadvantaged children. Look at what they did to the Imani, the elderly man that they use on the radio to advertise. The man dead. Look at what the NDC is doing now. But they're not doing it with the level of mature people. The NDC make a party for the elderly people. The fractious motivational speaker say give them armchair and let it go home. So this group of vultures made a party for them. Where you ever hear that in a political party? These elderly people have to hush them out. They put them in a cocoon. The National Democratic Congress, I don't know if they trade, they sell, or they take bribe for with foreign affairs. The government doesn't seem to be in charge of our foreign affairs. This is a serious issue, because if as an independent country, you have an unknown entity dictating your foreign policy, then they sold it away. You're asking something impossible. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Pierre. How are you doing?
Great, man.
I just noticed something, Mr. Pierre. For the first time, we have lawyers being prime minister in this country. I don't think lawyers is a good guys who are accounting. If you check back for the past time, all the lawyers we have running this country never give us due diligence. You have Eric Gary and you have Dr. Keith Mitchell. These men are businessmen, understand what is happening. I realize our problem we face is that these men have knowledge, and it's happening because lawyers don't care about poor people. Because the poor people come to them to get this land or somebody else, pay them money. So they believe that poor people have money and not realizing that the poor people that sacrifice for a piece of land to pay them, and if they want to give them. So they believe that people have money. People that start money from land, they get a children and something like that. So these men can't run a country. It could be within the parliament, but we need other people, businessmen and other people that have to run this country so we can be beneficial. Thank you, sir.
Well, we have had Forbes Bonham was a lawyer. I think John Compton was a lawyer. We had a number of lawyers that did a relatively good job. Mr. Blaze himself was a lawyer, he tag along, etc. What we have this individual is a corporate lawyer. We never had a corporate lawyer in the Caribbean leave and come in politics. This gentleman doesn't seem to understand the word compassion. He don't know about empathy. And he believes that morality is a private thing. And where the truth is concerned, he refused to live in a house with the truth. To add insult to injury, the 8 other people that with him are political neophytes. This is the first time in Grenada history that we are hearing so much speculation and rumors of bribery. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Mr. Pierre. Mr. Andy Williams is a gentleman. Miss Pierre, just give with him.
Well, caller, before you go, that is why Andy was put in charge of MIT. MIT is set up for political mischief, but they recognize Andy have a face people like.
Right.
So they put him in charge of political mischief.
Right, but Mr. Andy definitely make a big blunder today.
Well, he has not done nothing but make blunders.
Big blunder.
I have not seen him done anything but blunders.
Mr. Andy is supposed to be the acting prime minister now. And if in his capacity as acting prime minister, he cannot answer that simple question, then he show himself not competent. Because the question is, the money was supposed to be given before the independence.
You're giving money now is a waste of time.
Right.
Independence done.
You was supposed to give them before the independence. So which means, whatever they do now, the ministers...
Is a waste of time. Opposition don't need money again?
Right. The other money that the opposition parliamentarians have to get for the constituency. I heard all kind of thing about it. The gentleman said that it is in the process of working out. That was his word this morning. Now, if it is in the process, Mr. Annie, the acting prime minister, he have the right to pick up his phone and call the minister and ask him, call the parliament, the office, and find out what happened. That is his authority. So Mr. Andy doesn't seem to know his authority. So to come and tell the nation now that it is in process, themselves don't even get theirs yet. That is imbecileness.
I like that. A long time I don't hear this word. It's a good word.
That's imbecileness.
Yeah.
You is the acting prime minister, and when you acting, every other minister have to submit to you. Mr. Andy have the right to call any minister now. Because he's acting, he's the man in the capacity as prime minister. So something wrong with them fellas and them.
You in tongue long, you saying something wrong with them.
Well, every day
one of the ministers go in parliament and saying, beggy. Next one, you classless people, nasty people, needy and greedy, lunatic and idiot. You just saying something wrong with them.
You stay at your home and pick up a phone and call in a calling program and say that. Yeah? When you have the full authority, there is no other minister in Grenada higher than Mr. Andy Williams right now.
Mm. Yes.
That is, so I mean, we come and
something wrong with them long, man. The question is, what we have to do is to manage the consequences of our NDC government.
Them fellas cannot manage.
You have to try to see that they don't sell Nawasa. I'm convinced they're going to sell the electricity company, but I don't want them to sell Nawasa.
Because what Mr. Andy said this morning doesn't make any sense.
We have to try to avoid this country going into free fall. We have to try to find out who authorized the Samoa signing agreement, because that means they have a third entity in charge of our foreign policy. We're in trouble.
Up to now, the minister, the representative for St. George's, Mr. Redhead, have not tell John public yet his supposition. The Prime Minister have not tell the nation yet.
About the gracious offer.
Yeah.
We need to find out about the gracious offer.
He was elected by the people. He's a parliamentarian. So you have a right. We saw him in the parliament there. We have a right to explain to the people. Would he be getting parliament?
Yes, the gracious offer. He said he had a gracious offer. We want to know what is the content of the gracious offer. Was he bribed? We have to face reality.
They're not ready to answer.
And you in tongue long, so we can't beat around the bush. We have to know what was involved with the gracious offer. Did he receive the $100,000 that we hear? We have to ask this question. Otherwise, that is why Maurice Bishop jail all these people. We refuse to make Bishop accountable. Mr. Blaze go in Carrico and he rock on a chair.
Yes, but remember, Mr. Bishop tell us if he hear anybody saying anything about Mr. Cole and Lloyd Noel, he go put him in the dark cell. Heavy manners.
But the people in the diaspora could have asked the question. So our brothers in the diaspora now, you go back in Gala again.
Yeah.
When you're in Gala, ask them, who in charge of our foreign policy? The Prime Minister said he didn't read the document. You don't know what's in it. He didn't study it. And he used some diversion technique. Yes, scholar, thank you. Yeah. So these questions are pertinent questions. They are fundamental questions. We have to manage the impact of the National Democratic Congress. You cannot get back the economy into free fall. When they took charge, they that come and say the mid-country treasury in good standing, we coined the name pregnant. And they're spending money as if it's a joke. The Prime Minister is not even sitting down on his blessed assurance. He gone in Gala again. And when he's not in Gala, he gone in Saudi Arabia somewhere for rain to fall on his galvanize. So this is we're not on the right trajectory. What is the justification? What is the rationale for firing the workers in Grand Bay Estate? This $10,000, the opposition don't need that again. Use it to re-employ the people in Grenada Estate. What opposition give opposition money for them? You say you have money for them. Independence finish. Take the money and use it to re-employ the workers in Grenada Estate. Or use the money to pay the transportation for the children that have to drop out of National College. Come on. I have always chastised Mr. Blaze. I felt Mr. Blaze was the key because Kareku was so supportive of the revolution. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
The money still have use because it's a year-round. It's a year-round celebration.
I just games they playing, man. When independence done, celebration done.
This money now here is some error with the $500 for the Imanis. I hear no news is an error they make.
The government just deceived, and I believe the time has come for more institution. And every time I say that, I go to the trade union.
Yeah,
it is sad.
The trade union had to.
Why you attacking these people? You know?
And how Mr. Pierre have a blessed evening.
Yes, it's very unfortunate. Yeah, thank you.
Consequences.
It's very unfortunate. You have a government that hates a program. The government only hate the program because the idea didn't come from them. The National Democratic Congress does not think. When you meet in the lab, instead of planning lies, try to come up with answers how to solve problems. And you're going to develop a culture of thinking. So you're planning all the time how to do injustice to the Imani program. The psychological and economic torture you have on these young people must be frustrating. And why are you doing it? I cannot see the political impact. I don't know if Danley could help me. What is the political impact of the government torturous attitude to the Imani program? You tricked them in 2008. In 2022, you apologize. You tell them you're sorry you tricked them. It wasn't politically savvy. You tell them you're going to make them permanent. You say it was the stroke of a pen. You say it is illegal. You say it is lawless. You promise them $500. You deducted $300 from some of them pay. And now you tell them you didn't mean that. Well, where they get this kind of people on them? Who does that? I mean, it's difficult to understand. And people still want... Danley had to say something. Time for you to say something, Danley. What is the justification for the government relentless attack on the Imani program? Why? These are young people. People from the lower income group. 70% of the children that exit in school cannot meet the minimum requirement. When you have high unemployment and you have a school is like a factory producing people that is uncompetitive on the job market. It's difficult to get jobs because they don't have the skills or the attitude. Government must intervene. And that is what the previous government did. They created under 4,000 person employment space for people in the Imani program. One time, I visited Grenville in the bus terminus, and I couldn't believe the amount of young people that was there. The government expanded the age of youth to 39 to accommodate unemployed people. The NDC always against this group. You lie for them in 2008. You trick them. You tell them you'll give them $1,000. 10 years, 14 to 15 years after, you come back and trick the same group again. In 2008, you tell them you love them as a children. Then you close down the department, you change the name, and less than half of the number got employed. Maybe those who you believe was NDC. You go back and lie to these people again. You deduct money from them, and you do it quietly, you know. And some of them never tell me, you know, they're afraid. But you see, I have to find out. It doesn't bother with breaking news, so I just have to take me time and find out. Now you promise them to give them $500. You make big noise. Why deceive this group? The National Democratic, look at what the National Democratic Congress did with the low-income houses. They deny the people in the lower income group to obtain a house by the policy of rent to own. They take it away from them. I guess some of the people they bring down from the diaspora, they want to give some of them some, and people in the higher income group that can face the bank. Several members of the government who are unable to get loan from the commercial banks, millions of dollars was given to them from the GDP. If that is not corruption, then tell me what that is. If that is not corruption, tell me what it is. Now, why is it we have institutions in Grenada that look at this thing and they shut them out? This is an act of corruption. Where is the precedent? Tell us when was the last time in history we had members of the government using the GDP bank to enrich themselves? Millions of dollars provided from individuals who had problems to pay the bills. So the bank, the commercial bank, would hold them suspect. The government even destroyed the covenants that existed between the financial institution and people in the lower income group, the marginalized contract workers, supernumerary. The government destroyed the covenants that existed. The government removed the houses that the Chinese contributed to for low-income group. And the policy for that was rent to own. So somebody paying $235, $300 a month, and when they finish pay, is a rent to own policy. Now the government take it from them. The government raised the price of sugar. And the government raised the price of water. It was not necessary because you met a treasury pregnant. The budget you presented, you claim that the projection you was doing better than what you projected. The CBI program was doing better than what you expected. So there was absolutely no economic justification for your action. Now, Danley, tell me if there is economic justification. A long time I ain't see you in the rum shop, Danley. If I'd seen you in the rum shop when me and John Galt and Tilita there, I'd ask you. But I know it's difficult to corner some of the politicos. The politicos from NDC, they're hiding. because they cannot answer these basic questions. So they take bush, they hiding. They're making some low blow and they're hiding. Can't even see Dan in the rum shop. I asked John Galt, you don't know when he see him. Till I don't know when he see him. She tell me we partner hiding. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Yes, sir. You spoke of the sugar price that they increase, the water, the electricity. One important point you forgot. They reduce or remove the tax on condom. So what they are telling the women of this country, go prostitute yourself so that you could buy sugar for your children, so that you could pay the electricity bill for your children to study at night. And you can get water so you can bathe those children. It is a simple mathematical formula. Have a good evening, sir.
Yes, they take this scholar advice, man. Open your business. No, I am so dissatisfied with a government, with that policy, with that philosophy. And I'm still concerned that there are some people who used to walk around like turkey cock with morality and accountability tied around the neck like a gallard that they abscond in a cocoon. And that is why I encourage our brothers in the diaspora. When we were crying out during the coup d'etat, the 4.5 years experiment under Maurice Bishop with revolution, your voices was not loud enough. Some Grenadians afraid to talk. 3,000 people went in jail. Maurice Bishop castrate Broco. Clotilda got bullied. But you was in the diaspora. You could have asked questions. You could have speak out. You there hailing up Bishop. Bishop wife and all run. And she condemn him and she live and run. Bishop was 39 years. He lacked institutional knowledge. He was arrogant and bitter. He jailed over 3,000 Grenadians. Castrate people. Take advantage on Montreach. Montreach and the surrounding areas. Took advantage on Tivoli and the surrounding areas. And you in the diaspora could have asked. Maybe your voice should have been more powerful. Because it was in Uncle Sam country, in Frankfurt, London, and Canada. Now you're in Gala. You're jumping up with Deacon in Gala. Ask Deacon Mitchell, who is the third party that is dictating our foreign policy? Ask Deacon Mitchell why he created a sham board to provide several millions of dollars for members of his government. Ask Deacon Mitchell to explain why several members of his government are agents of selling passport. So it means his members of government are the chief cook and bottle washer. Where is the check and balance? Ask Dick Mitchell to tell you what is the policy he have for the Imani. Why he hate this group of people and why is he torturing them? Ask Dick Mitchell to have discussion with the medical doctors. And because he play a job with a food grade substance, ask him to make the call and encourage our young men and women not to play with old oil, spent fluid, First of all, ask a doctor if what I'm saying is right. He may not succeed readily, but he will join the other voices in the country, and another industry might rise because there are alternatives to spend fluid. Ask Dickie Mitchell to give you economic justification for the workers in Grenada Estate that the Ministry of Agriculture set up. They told them, they complimented them for the work they're doing, and they told them the estate is targeted for growing weed, and then they fired them. You see, when we speak, we want to speak the truth. If we make mistakes, correct us. We don't want to come on the air and say anything that is not the truth. We're back with you again tomorrow. Yeah. So we have a call? Yes. So you have the power, you in the diaspora, because the government consider you as the 16th constituency. So they put real emphasis on the diaspora, and you would be just as guilty if you didn't ask those questions. Ask the Prime Minister of Grenada, why he going in Dubai and other countries with such great regularity? Why can't he stay in Grenada and run the country? Ask Dickie Mitchell why he believes Grenadians describe them as beggy and classless and commoners. And we join with me again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch.